Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I have a bit of an announcement to make. If you're not familiar with this gacha community by now, thank yourself, because it is literally the worst one I've ever seen. It is probably the biggest example of astroturfing. It is the biggest example of a community getting manipulated. And the worst part about all of it is that I've been able to identify former members of my community that have unfortunately drank the Kool-Aid. Because one thing is abundantly clear about what's going on. The moderation team of this subreddit is trying their hardest to sabotage Wuthering Waves. And I'm going to take the time today to outline exactly why that's the case and why you need to be, as a Wuwa player that's maybe taking a look at social media, that's maybe taking a look at Twitter posts, why you need to be wary about the absolute nonsense and garbage that is spewing out of this place. So let's just go ahead and get things straight over here. This gacha responses person over here, I've actually banned them from my YouTube this morning. They're a moderator of the Gacha Grill community. And this is what they're on the record saying. We'll read the top sentence and the bottom sentence, right? Because I don't want to get too much into the subjects in the middle. Yeah, we can all agree that the Wuwa community has become even worse than the Genshin community. Hoyo at least has lots of harmless, wholesome players and CCs, but every single Wuwa player is bitter and toxic. Bit of a declarative statement to make, right? Bit of a strong statement to make, just going ahead and renouncing the entire Wuwa community, right? Let's go ahead and take a bit of a further look at what is going on. This is the same person, ladies and gentlemen, that has been leading the crusade against Alto's VA to make this statement true. This was posted prior to the harassment campaign that began to try to cancel. Here's the proof. This was posted directly before the campaign to harass Alto's VA. What better way to make a statement like this true? What better way to make a conclusion like this true other than to just actively trigger it and make it occur in the community that you're moderating? There are people, ladies and gentlemen, that were members of my community, that would frequently write in my chat, sometimes type in my Discord, that are going ahead, joining this group, and then believing the absolute nonsense that these complete freaks are spreading around after they're on the record, right? After they're on the record already spreading this narrative about the Wuwa community being worse than the Hoyo community. And now they're trying to harass VAs at the same exact level as Hoyoverse communities. And when you take a deeper look at this profile, guys, it gets even more funny. You want to know when this account was made? You can tell it's verified, right? Oh, because we want to appear legitimate. Because we all want to, we want to have that clout. This account was made in June 2025. You know what also happened during June 2025? Some of the most ridiculous astroturfing ever seen in the history of the game during Wuthering Waves' anniversary. I'm not going to go ahead, right, and say, oh, this is a Hoyo shill that joined during the anniversary, and so they're running covert operations to try to sabotage Wuthering Waves and make it look as bad as possible. But it doesn't take a genius, right? It doesn't take a genius to connect the dots over here. Make a statement talking about how bad Wuwa is, then proceed to literally make Wuthering Waves look bad by harassing voice actors. And then proceeding to play defense in every single way possible on the take that this harassment was okay. I actually banned this person on stream this morning, right? They were in my YouTube chat. I took them out because they were being, they were doing what they were doing. And this is what they had to say. Sate went on stream again and made some delusional claim that the original "Why Can't VAs Act Like Normal People" post was already a harassment campaign. It's pretty clear that he's just trying to sell that nonsensical Hoyo shill astroturfing narrative to not have to engage with it. And it's not like his opinion matters at this point. So naturally, these freaks are trying to cancel me as well. So let's just take the time to dispute these claims really, really, really fast so I can highlight to you the level of manipulation that's actually going on in this subreddit and why, if you're somebody that believes the nonsense that's being said over here, you are being a genuine fucking idiot. So let's just take a look. Alto's VA, without a doubt, ended up getting canceled, right? We've already taken a look at it over here. And I called a statement like this harassment because it eventually led to Alto's VA being literally lambasted in customer support messages. People are like bragging about how they managed to get a one-up on the guy by like reaching out to customer support and then complaining about something that wasn't an issue. Because we've already taken a look, ladies and gentlemen, at what the issue actually is. Are you ready to see what got Alto's VA into this much hot water with these deranged members of the community? I'll play you the exact line.
If I get Brant in this tentpole, it's confirmed, it's canon that Brant and Alto are lovers.
It's a joke. It's clearly a joke. If you view that as more than a joke, then you probably have something deeply wrong in your life that you need to go get checked out so that you don't hyperanalyze statements like this to such a high degree. That's just the first thing that I'm going to say. It's a joke. But the thing is, people are allowed to be offended, right? And they're allowed to be oversensitive. And they're allowed to be freaks with poor emotional control. And what these individuals have done is essentially make the claim that, A, this clearly kind of fruity guy made a fruity joke as he was on 50-50, potentially lost, and then said, essentially, guys, if I win the 50-50, this character clearly likes me. No, this character loves me if I win the 50-50. Just a zesty dude making a zesty joke about, I'm just gonna be honest here, a zesty character. Do you know how many people actually, like, call this dude gay on a daily basis? I think it's like a significant portion of the population, because let's just be real here. Brant's fruity as hell in his gameplay, and bro has like half the clothing of the other male characters. I'm just gonna be real here, it's not a particularly crazy take to have. He also, like, eats oranges in his idol, so he's literally fruity. These guys have decided to take that joke, turn it into a little harassment campaign, and start saying shit like, why can't English VAs act like normal people? Guys, normal people make jokes, yes, and normal people, who may or may not be a little bit fruity, a little bit zesty, will also make zesty and fruity jokes. That's like how it works. It's not that big of a deal. And these people would know that if they went outside. But they don't. And they continued, right? Saying things like, either learn to be a normal VA or keep your fetishes to yourself. Hey guys, is this somebody going out and advertising their fetishes?
If I get Brant in this tentpole, it's confirmed, it's canon that Brant and Alto are lovers. Let's go. This is my last tentpole I have without paying money. Please, please!
He even clarifies by saying, this is my last tentpole I have without paying money. This is what we're calling a fetish. A level of just misconstruing and actually just actively spreading misinfo about what's going on to the point where we're saying stuff like this, that he's advertising his fetishes to his audience, is what I'm calling harassment. And if people are at the point where they're defending this degree of a statement to somebody clearly making a joke, guys, you can see it's a concentrated effort across all sides to try to make behavior like this okay. And you want to know what the best part about all of this is? There are people going ahead and trying to make the statement that this is like the issue. That the fact that he has, like, stuff like this in his thumbnail, that he made statements like this, Brant X Alto confirmed. And you want to know what this only shows? That they didn't actually watch his stream at all. Read the transcript. If I get Brant in this tentpole, it's confirmed that it's canon. And look what happens on this tentpole.
Let's go. This is my last tentpole I have without paying money. Please, please, yes, please, yes, please.
Just check it out. Oh, he got Brant.
Yeah!
Oh, so he actually got Brant too. So it's literally a title based off the joke that he made in stream because he literally actually got him. So it's just a continuation of a joke. And if you're not able to see that, understand that, and realize it's not a big deal, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you to the point where you can't identify that this is a literal continuation of the joke? That's what it is in the thumbnail. But they're trying to use this as justification. They're trying to go ahead and say that this is a problem. It's a problem if you're not a member of his community and you don't keep up with his content and you refuse to do research to actually try to break down why he would even make this in the first place. It's an entirely in-stream, in-community, inside joke sort of thing. And all you had to do to discover that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll show you how long you had to watch. You had to watch 20 seconds of his stream to know this. It starts at 43:20 and then ends at 43:38, the context that you needed. 18 seconds of context. It was all you needed to know that this is just a joke. And people couldn't do that. Or they did get the context. And when you get the context that this is just on a temple, can't you consider the fact that they spliced his quote, took out the context of him pulling, took out the context of it being a joke, took out the context of it being his last 10 pull before spending money, and that's why he's making a crazy joke like this? Isn't taking out all that context and just making it seem like he's on his soapbox saying that it's canon, isn't that just harassment as well? Hey guys, if you made a statement, I love eating, period, kids are annoying, and then somebody spliced your sentence, took out the last couple of words, and then quoted you as saying, I like eating kids, how would you feel? Would you view that as probably harassment? Because your full statement was, I like eating, kids are annoying, and then you get quoted as, I like eating kids, because that's what happened here. Because he said this entire statement, once again, ladies and gentlemen, with the context of, if I get Brant in this 10 pull, and this is my last 10 pull I have without paying money, because that's the whole context. But when you splice it like this, can't you call that harassment? Because you're clearly trying to make him say things that he didn't say. It's completely out of context, right? We already listed out the examples over here. But then you got all these guys saying, no, wait, here's the actual analysis. Look, please, it's okay, guys. Keep harassing him. You're actually right. You're actually right. We need to keep harassing Alto's VA. That's the right thing to do. We're going to clear up the misconceptions. Oh, also, this is the same person on the record saying that the Wuwa community is worse than the Genshin one. And then you can clearly see, oh, they're going ahead. And they're trying to, with their very hard, with the most effort possible, make that narrative a reality. This account was made 4 months ago. It's verified. It's on the record, trying to paint the Wuwa community in a negative way. And now you're seeing them actively go ahead and try to defend the harassment of a VA, out of context quotes, crazy statements like fetishization and all of that. If you can't identify this as a concentrated effort, there's something wrong with you. If you can't identify this as clearly some level of astroturfing that's trying to make the community look as bad as possible, I don't really know what to say. And the worst part about all of this, right, is you have members, this person's on my Discord, they're probably not going to be on it for very much longer, quoting me and saying dumb shit like this. Like, listen, Sate, Kuro does not support the same-sex character pairing. If he has posted that video on Bilibili, it would have been removed under a day. Doesn't matter if you think it's a joke or real. He posted a video with the caption canon, which literally changes meaning. In fact, you just saw VOD, not the actual video. Yeah, and this is the VOD, and this is why he titled it. If I get Brant in this 10 pull, which is my last one, it's canon, we're lovers. It's a joke. Once again. But because these individuals have managed to package this issue in such a volatile way, in such a volatile goddamn way, there are people now gaslighting themselves into thinking that something actually evil happened. And then they're going ahead and they're saying, guys, look, he privated the video. This video got posted in this group full of people with mental illness. So he 1000% got brigaded in this fucking video. And so that's why he probably privated it, because and I'm not view shaming over here. James Day ain't no big YouTuber. He ain't got no crazy clout with his 14 videos and his 2.19k subscribers. Believe me when I say this. If he gets even like 10 negative comments, he will know, because he doesn't, and he gets a shit ton of dislikes and 10 negative comments. He will know. And the thing is, just look at that. It's like, this was a 7k view video, 6.3k view video on his channel, where the average viewership is like 4k. Are we beginning to see what's going on over here? I know I've said this a bunch of times, but I feel like I need to keep reiterating myself. And the fact that there are all of these individuals who literally can't see what's actually going on. You got somebody openly admitting to trying to make the Wuthering Waves community look as worse as, look as bad as possible, right before the harassment campaign for Alto's VA. Literally the day before the harassment campaign, they're on the record saying that Wuwa is just worse than Genshin. Guys, just think for a second about what's going on. Think for a second before you're gonna say, oh, I need proof of him being harassed. And think about what type of community you're allowing to dominate the way of your thinking. Because I'm not gonna lie over here, it's so pathetic, right, that I go into my notifications and then I see myself getting mentioned 300 times, right, by my former viewers. Yes, this guy, Morgan Shiba YouTube. I don't know why YouTube is at the end of his name. You know, nobody's actually ever gonna, nobody actually will interact with this guy, right? Who's also verified as well for his 146 followers. I think he might have done this in the past couple of days. He's, I've lost so much respect for the guy, it's insane, right? Another weirdo who I banned from my Twitch chat. Just going ahead being like, is this drama still going on? This is just exposing every CC. And then you got the Special Avengers battle cry in here, right? The most mentally ill parts of the player base. We will own every CC once they cover us. We can always call disingenuous because they're that hungry for content that they choose to lie and be selective when it comes to information. You guys are literally getting spun around by a ringleader who's actively on the record saying this right before they start promoting a harassment campaign against Wuthering Waves' VA. If you're not able to identify that you are actually just getting rage baited and that you are getting manipulated like a fucking sheep, I don't know what else to tell you. You might be too stupid to live in modern society. Just going to be honest. All I know for certain is that everybody in this thread, potentially everybody in this community collects disability. No lie, these guys are a net loss to society 100%. Because I don't know how we can be this stupid to not see what's going on over here. It's a little bit absurd, if we're frankly going to be honest. Yuzuha harasser too? I mean, it isn't surprising that this person also is also doing harassment in other communities. Who would have thought that this person would also harass VAs in other communities? According to Saint, the Gacha Grail is a community of Hoyo shows who are trying to make Wuwa community look bad by harassing Alto's VAs. This is your mod in that community. What else is it? What else is it? Other than literally the argument that you're presenting for me right here. This is a bit of a PSA. This is a bit of an announcement. This is a follow-up to the Alto situation because I know 1,000,000% this is basically the breeding ground, right? This community is basically the breeding ground of the most misinformation you're probably ever going to see in gacha. And you need to do your hardest, if you're a member of this community, to either get the fuck out or just educate yourself on who you're being led by in terms of their moderation team. Because these guys are a bunch of schizophrenic freaks who are once again trying to, with their freshly made accounts, their Twitter Blue verification made 4 fucking months ago, spreading these narratives and trying to get these VAs harassed just so Wuwa can be just like Hoyo. That's going to be our breakdown. That's going to be the nitty-gritty. That's going to be the digestion of this absolute nonsense that I've unfortunately been a part of the past couple of days. I'm wiping my hands of this. I don't think we're going to be making another video on these clowns because hopefully this one's going to cook them completely. So yeah, that'll be that for this one. Let me know what you all thought. Peace.